Hi, this is Kristin Jones. I'm reviewing an article from the Psychology of Music journal called The Association of Music Preferences and Depressive Symptoms in High School Students, a community-based study from Istanbul. The study investigated the relationship between music preferences and depressive symptoms among high school students. It looked at relationships between music genre preferences and a student's emotional well-being, their relationships with substances, and their relationships with parents and peers. So it was quite a wide-ranging study. They talked to 1,226 randomly selected 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. These students were given a written questionnaire at school, and the students were chosen from 4 middle-class high schools in Istanbul, Turkey, 3 public and 1 private. The schools were chosen intentionally to be schools where the designers thought that there might be a tendency towards Western culture and life, meaning that these students might be listening to Western music more than your average student in Istanbul. There were a lot of questions that were asked of these students. They had to self-report facts about their own life, but then also relationships with substance use and abuse, parent-peer relationships, and what was on their personal playlists, and what they thought about and how they felt while they were listening to music on their playlists. There were 2 types of music preferences that were offered to the students to choose from: heavy genres and lighter genres. We're familiar, I think, with most of the heavy genres on the list. The lighter genres, there was one that was new to me, arabesque, which is apparently a very popular type of music in the general Turkish population. And it has negative themes in its lyrics, including protest at wasted lives, unjust fate, and rejection by society. So these might actually be lyrical themes that have more in common with rock and heavy metal and rap lyrics. The Children's Depression Inventory, the CDI, was used to assess the students, and the parental relationships and peer relationship questions are here on the PowerPoint slide. And the students just needed to self-report about their relationships with their friends and families. They were also asked about whether they understood the lyrics to the songs they were listening to, if they were in a foreign language or not, and if that mattered to them, and if the music was important to them. You can see here what was being measured in the study, and I've highlighted the categories of the music genres with the highest CDI scores. You can see that arabesque had the highest CDI score, then heavy metal, and then after that, classical music. 117 participants in the study were determined to be at risk for depression, and on their surveys, they listed rock, Turkish pop, and heavy metal as their preferred genres. The study purports that the presence of heavy metal and arabesque music in student playlists was found to be associated with these higher CDI scores, and that lyrical content was determined to be irrelevant across the genres. Whether it was in Turkish or in a foreign language did not matter in terms of whether students were found to be at risk for depression. A validity concern that came up was that there was extremely low drug use being reported, and the study's designers determined that that may not actually be accurate, that students might be worried about prosecution. I think there were some implications here for further research. Were these emotional problems and symptoms causing students to gravitate towards specific genres, or were students who listened to these genres being affected by the lyrical or the musical content of what they were listening to? Thanks.